Happy Wednesday and welcome back to the Wolf Den presented by Win Again Academy. Check out Mark Moyer's networking and informational events in the club room. It's Win Again Academy. I am Matt Wolff, founder and CEO of Ticket Time Machine. Today we have Alexis Pace in the Wolf Den. I never know whether to say in the Wolf Den, on the Wolf Den, both of them. I guess if you're not physically here. But our guest today is
Circling,
Alexis.
we're circling the wolf den.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out how to say it, but you're on the Wolf Den, in the Wolf Den, around the Wolf Den. Welcome to the Wolf Den. That's probably a better way to say it. Welcome to the Wolf Den. For the people in the audience who don't know you, give us a quick introduction, and then we'll get into it.
Great. Yes, thanks, Matt. Thank you so much for having me at, in, around, by the wolf den, or in proximity to the wolf den. Glad to be here virtually. Yes, so my name is Alexis Pace. I am an artist and designer and owner of Fabella. I work with individuals and families to tell the stories of their lives through photo and video, both digital and archival. I believe life is an adventure, and we all have a story to tell.
I think we all do have a story to tell. We are. So the Wolf Den is all about sharing stories. It's about there's no topic like who are you, what's your story, what are you passionate about, what are you working on. It's all, and everyone has a good story to tell, and we never know whose story is going to impact you or someone else. Why, it's all just so random in some ways, and the impact for one person could be just as big as sharing a story that impacts millions. So it's good to have you on here to sort of share your story and how you share other people's stories. We're keeping the printed memory alive at Ticket Time Machine. In a way, you're preserving memories and creating memories. So you're preserving the memories, but you're also creating maybe better memories off of what was happening. Is that fair to describe?
Yeah, I mean, I think you and I, in essence, have sort of a core parallel of like wanting to hold on to something, wanting to be tangible. For me, I'm a very kinesthetic person. So as much as I love the democratization of digital photographs and the volume that we have, I miss actually just sit down and flip through a photo album with somebody. And that, I have a lot of really wonderful memories of sitting with family and friends and just flipping through stuff, remember when, as opposed to so much stuff is backed up. Some stuff gets on Facebook or Instagram or Meta, whatever, wherever you're posting, but a lot of it is just backed up somewhere and you never look at it again. And for me, I am a visual artist, so storytelling just comes to me innately. And I wanted to lend my talents and skills and passions to just individuals who, have some photos sitting there and, it's on their to-do list. And, I've talked to people who, they're like, well, we wanted to do a baby's first yearbook, but the kid's 4 now. That is not uncommon. I did a wedding video. They had it shot by a crew of film students, so they had beautiful footage, but they never edited it, and so they had 2 kids already, and they still haven't had their wedding video. And those memories are important and they're precious, and we keep them alive. I'm kind of at a stage in my life where I'm really passionate about legacy and just looking back at my family and history, and some stuff I knew, some stuff I didn't. And I feel like the photos and film can really bring those stories to life.
Yeah, it's funny because I I have so many photos and videos, and there's app. My friend has an app called Queso that is for kids, and it's very good at handling just photos for your kids. I don't know how else to say. It's good to organize and it's good for that. But at the end of the day, man, it's hard as heck to navigate through the. I don't care how good the app is, and then how often are we actually just going back to it? So now it becomes really like, what are we doing with this? Creating videos from your photos. I have another friend, Aston, who just put together a beautiful video for a friend of ours, Brent, who usually sometimes listening about a fishing trip they did. And so there's so much more that can be done. and I think all of it's good. I think to have the video to sort of just share and to pull up the photo album too. Like we don't go to any of that stuff very often, regardless of how it is. Like I have a wet. I don't even know if I don't even know if I have a wedding album. Actually, just now that I think about it, I don't even know if I have a wedding album. I know we have photos.
Somewhere.
I don't know. My wife takes care of it. We haven't gone through all of that. We kind of like go. Yeah, that's weird, man. That's a weird thing that just
And how
happened
long
to
have you been married?
2 years. I feel like we didn't get. I don't remember. I'm gonna have to go after this and we'll talk to you. I wanted to share
But
it with you because I do have. I am a photo album kind of guy. We have stuff like that, and I'm gonna break the tradition of live TV and content to try and go into my closet that I think has some things that I want to share, which I meant to bring out and then I didn't. Um, but people don't go to it, but you should have it there for when you do. It's not like, hey, I'm going to go to this every week, but let's say whenever it is, you have new company over, people who weren't at your wedding, people who were at your wedding, you're just sitting around having a holiday or a drink. I mean, that's a beautiful thing to have.
yeah, and it's a very it's the sharing of it, right? It's the sharing of the experience together. I mean, it's wonderful to look at it yourself, but this communal experience of sitting around together and going through is a bit of a lost art, you know? I mean, I think some of it was built in naturally, like when we actually had film. I'm going to date myself. I would, take the film to the developer, you get it back, you'd sort through it. But even then, it would sometimes sit there. Ideally, you would buy the album and slot them in, and then you'd have something to go. But you know, that process is completely disrupted. So you have to be more conscious about it. And some people are great at doing it. I have no people who immediately upload stuff to Snapfish or whatever and print it out and they're good to go. But most people aren't. Most people aren't, including myself. I don't have a wedding album either. And my wedding is pretty friggin' cool. So my I don't usually use the word wife, but my partner and I got married in a Shark Tank. So we have some pretty friggin' cool photos to share.
But why?
And
And when did you get married?
we got married in December 2012.
Oh,
And yeah, we, before gay marriage was legal, we basically were just we're adventurers. We like to do fun stuff, and we were collecting interesting places to get married if and when it happened. So you can get married on the Cyclone, you can get married in Howe Cavern, you can get married in Central Park, you can get married at the top of the stratosphere. Like just fun and interesting places. But when we were learning to scuba dive, we did a cage dive in the Riverhead Aquarium in Long Island. And you don't have to be certified to dive there because it's a full mask. And so it's mic'd. And so we both looked at each other and we were like, Shark Tank cage dive, wedding. Yep, that works. And we weren't the first people to do it. We were the first person to have an officiant in full drag, but we were not the first people to get married there in the tank. But
do you
it was
have?
our.
Did you have
Do I
people
have?
at the wedding, not
Yeah,
in the tank?
not in the tank. Yes, yeah, that was the beauty of the aquarium, right? So friends and family were down, and so we were looking into the tank. It was a small, intimate wedding. There were about 14 people, including us. But yeah,
How
yeah,
many
we had
people? How
audience.
many sharks were in attendance?
There were 5 sand tiger sharks and 1 uh, sea turtle,
Swirling around.
swirling around doing their thing.
And you don't have a book or the
I
edit.
don't.
You haven't.
I have a video clip and photos. We had a professional photographer who's a friend of mine, and my dad was taking photos as well. But I have, even myself, I have been remiss in putting that together.
Yeah, I would think it'd be perfect for Fabella. You would think. We
Yeah,
always do.
yeah.
It's always funny like that. The stuff that we don't like. We actually did. As I was as we were getting married, I'm trying to think like what. what would be cool to have. Not we didn't get into any shark stuff, but we did a special wedding lenticular, which I you would think I would have it right in front of me, but it's not, and that's just the way it is. So, oh, here it is. So it'd be cool
Oh,
to share, like commemorate our wedding, but also it's a cool thing to share for an idea, for what people can do. So
absolutely.
you definitely you got to put together your thing. I think the interesting part about, and there's a ton I want to talk about from what you did. Um, if I can get personal for a second, why don't you
Sure.
call each other wife? Would it be you're my wife, you're my wife? Do some people feel like there's more? It's like not like maybe I'm not the wife and you are the wife. I mean, how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very personal decision. I know other people who call each other wives, call each other husbands. I think,
Because I feel like partner is used more for when you're not married. You wouldn't say
yeah, and it,
girlfriend, you would say partner necessarily, but it all makes sense. It just depends on who cares what you say, whatever you want, right?
yeah, I mean, I think for us personally, and I am not speaking for the community at all, I'm just for us personally, wife, it feels like a very antiquated term of ownership. I mean, I'm not going to go back to the history of marriage, but it was about property and ownership. And so the language just doesn't sit right for us. I
Yeah,
do change what I say depending on who I'm speaking with, right? So if I need to denote legal status, like say we're in the hospital or crossing the border, I will say spouse.
yeah.
Um, uh,
But that's
and
weird to use if it's not in a technical term, right?
yeah, it's a bit sort of formal and like
Who talks like
bureaucratic.
that? I'd like you to
Yeah,
meet my
talks like that.
spouse, Alexis. Like, what's wrong with Alexis?
No, but when I'm making calls for like our insurance coverage or something, I'll say my spouse, and they still often default to he, and then I'm like, no, she, and then we have that moment, and then they correct. Um, I don't know. I guess the language is limited.
Yeah,
I can't
I
explain
get
it
it.
more than that.
No, I get it. I just say, like, when you said partner, my first thought was they're together, and you didn't use girlfriend, so I assumed it was
Long term.
female. And yeah, I assumed it was long term, but I also assumed it was not someone of the opposite sex. I don't know. These are all the assumptions we make. It's not. Who knows? But it's a personal preference. It's just
And
interesting.
you never know, that's true in the States, but if you're talking to a European, plenty of people use the term partner for opposite sex.
Yeah,
And there's some countries in Scandinavia where it became financially, the taxes became so financially crazy that people stopped getting married, and they're long-term partners with kids. So it depends on what country you're in as well.
the partner
Um,
really describes it the way it should be too. It's funny though, like that. I'll tell you, I was in Ireland with my sister when Ireland voted and passed gay marriage for the whole entire country, which I think they were the first.
wow.
They were the first country to ever do it. That was many years ago, but man, that was such a powerful moment to be there and see the country. It was a great moment.
It must have been amazing to be there in person. A dear friend of mine is Irish, and she just couldn't believe. And she, by the way, does use the word wife. They had a big sort of formal wedding. I think I don't know. Yeah.
Let's get back to the actual stuff.
Sure.
It's interesting that we talk about how I don't have something done, you don't have something done, because typically when you have a big event, and it doesn't have to be a wedding, it could be whatever.
Hmm.
Someone's taking photos, someone's doing video. We had Will Byington, who's a great photographer for the 6-man cruises that we go on, and he's thousands. You do that now, you have thousands of things, and it's like
Thousands.
they can put together that stuff for you, right? They charge a premium for it because it's not really what they do, or they pass it on to someone else, and it's very time consuming. And then if you don't do it, it's like, am I gonna now do this afterwards because I didn't want to spend the money then? Am I going to want to spend the money now? What you're doing is a little bit different, because it's like a lot of people are probably come say I have a reason to want to have it in a video now that maybe I didn't. Maybe I got married and then we were worried about money now, and now we have a little bit more money to spend and we want something. So that's interesting in the way, uh, in the way that, what you're doing is different than just the people who probably could have gotten it done as they were getting the event done, and they probably won't get it done as good. I mean, they're good at what they do, but it's not what they do, is what I'm trying to
Right.
say.
Yeah, 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 some professional photographers won't do it at all. Some will farm it out. And you're right. I mean, the biggest thing is it's very just quite time consuming because it's thousands of photos, and there's usually color correction that goes on in as well. Um, you know, if you don't get it done at the time, then there's, with any task, not even just photos, but any task, if you don't do it right away, you get into that, like, I want to get it done someday, and it gets put off, right? So for me, the sweet spot has been gifts. Somebody's anniversary, a 50th wedding anniversary is coming up, or, even a 10th wedding anniversary, or something that is more of a landmark, something, some sort of a milestone in someone's life, that they want to mark, and that has an inherent deadline. It has the inherent love and joy of wanting to give this special personalized gift, and it keeps us on track, right? We're like, well, that is on the 25th of October, so we got to get going, as opposed to, yes, I want it done, and it's you've got your lists, and it's always it's important but not pressing. So it's
Yeah.
it's an
And, and by
interesting area.
and by the time someone comes to you with all the photos that they did, you've moved on past that of the wedding, the actual wedding of it, and on with your lives. But the other thing is, I we do. You mentioned Snapfish, but you have anything, we can go on Canva and create certain things, and now create the books, and people can do that easily on their own.
Mhm.
It's not going to look, I think, the most professional thing unless you know what you're doing. So do you get most people who just want to hire real high quality stuff, or the people who, some people just don't want to be bothered? I say what we do is, you don't have to find something that people can't do. Find it that they don't want to do. The people can do it, but it's like, I don't want to do it. I want to just say, hey, let you do it, because you know what, it's not worth my time doing it. It's too frustrating. It's too hard.
Yeah, it's both. Some people don't have the tech savvy. And the people who are going to do it on their own, they're going to do it. They're not my client. But the people who either feel like they want to, one of the things that you get with me is I work with. Can you hear the scratching at the door?
A dog or a cat?
There's there's a cat that wants in.
Cat in,
Just
yeah.
want to make
I have cats here. I can let my cats in too.
there's one in and there's one out, but just let me know if the mic starts to pick it up and I'll let her in.
Good.
Um, so yeah, there's people who want. I work with not only am I a trained artist and designer, but I work with other trained artists and designers. So we are lending you our professional eye. So you're going to have an elevated level, and we also work materials that are professional grade. So, there's great stuff you can get online, but is it archival quality? Maybe not. Is it like professional quality? Maybe not. So we also lend you our access, as artists to, if you want a book, it's going to be acid-free archival, hand stitched. If you want a print, it's going to be professional grade, museum quality. If you want to preserve photos, we work with groups that digitize for organizations like the Library of Congress. So it's going to be a level that you don't, as an individual, kind of have access to. And then it's a time thing. It's not the best use of most people's time, and either you're busy with work or it's not something you're comfortable with. And that's where we come in. It is a full service, highly individualized, customized kind of white glove level service.
It is crazy. I was talking to Will, who's a professional photographer, how good the cameras have become on our phones, that people can really snap. Now, what you do with that, different story, but the actual quality of a photo is, which actually helps when you want to create, like, you can take a photo, right? But I can't take that part of that photo and make something of it the way that you can. And that's the difference I see when I'm creating my own stuff. Like, I'm putting like this next to this, sort of, maybe if you get like a vector, with no background, they come right. that
Right.
type of logo. It just fits over and it's fine. But art, pictures, photos don't come that way.
They do
Logos, yes,
not.
they're easy to do. Photos do not. And so to get people next to each other, and that's the type of stuff that I think you guys add value to. And don't get me wrong, the other stuff's nice too. Some it might
Mhm.
warrant that, or that might be in your budget. And say, I just need something quick. But the ability to take, because there's thousands of photos, and if you only want to, you can't have 1,000-page photo book. So now
Yep.
you got to mix and match these photos and combine them. That's the trick, right?
That is, and for me, that's the fun part. I mean, as a trained artist, it's very easy for me to go through photos, both my own and somebody else's, and just be like, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, and just go through them really quickly, seeing, you know, not every photo is going to be, quality, but I can see the heart in it, so I can see what's there. But then also seeing what story is unfolding from the photos. I mean, the most traditional way is to just do it chronologically, but we can do everything from mood to adventure to color coordinated, and so that for me is fun to kind of go through them and see what story emerges as we go.
Yeah. How did you get into all of this? I mean, I used to take, man, when I had a first had a digital camera on every trip I took, and I take a lot of trips. I had 200-300 photos that I would whittle down to and actually post in these albums that I had, and it was fun for me. Now I don't take a whole lot. I don't know why. I just kind of I don't look at them anyway. It's nice to put together an album, which is what sort of you can do, or even if it's just a digital album. But
Yep.
how'd you get into all of this and decide to become a designer and an artist?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I mean, becoming an artist and designer was, I studied design because I kept trying to not be an artist. I think I was an artist by birth, and I was trying to also figure out how to feed myself and make a living. So I ended up going back to graduate school for actually industrial design, which is the design for production. So I'm specialized in materials and replication and process. And one of my other passions is film. And after I got out of graduate school, I actually sort of stumbled my way into the nonprofit arts field and ended up at a video post production nonprofit, and which was wonderful. I learned a lot more hands on about the film industry. We worked with independent filmmakers, documentarians, and I was mostly doing post production, and I loved doing it. I loved advising people about where to go and how to do it. And then as the market changed and some of our funding got cut, I decided to go out on my own doing video production. And while I loved doing it, it was very intense. And I still felt like I wasn't, I'm very much about creatively collaborating individuals. Did I just cut out? Okay, I'll just say that again. I love to creatively collaborate with individuals, and the video production was there was like a distance between us. As much as I enjoyed documenting what people were doing, there was something missing. And then just had this aha moment. I was at my parents' house, they had guests over, and my dad is actually very good about going through their photos as soon as they come back from trips and creating albums and sharing them. And Gesundheit. And
Awesome.
they they came up on his TV, just sort of flipping through, and the screensaver and an Apple TV function, and a woman there who was wife of a diplomat, and she was just sort of bemoaning the fact that she has photos from all over the world that she never gets to see. And basically, what I do is post production for individuals. And it was in that moment where I was like, I have all those skill sets, and this might be something worth exploring. And so I just started playing around with shifting my company from Fabella Productions to Fabella Photo, and now just Fabella as an umbrella. And there seemed to be a market there. People were like, yes, please. Yes, we want to do this. Yes, can
Yeah.
you help me with my 16 millimeter? Yes, can you help me with these slides that are here in the basement? And yes, can you help me with the photos from our honeymoon?
What is Fabella? What does that mean? Why is that the name?
So, Fabella is I mean you've got a company. Naming a company with something that's meaningful that isn't already taken is its own adventure. And so I finally went. Did I cut out again?
A little bit, but that's all right. Keep going.
Yes. No. Okay. Okay. um, so I basically went to what I've used. So I am a proud cat mama, crazy cat lady, and we've often used foreign languages to name our animals. And I just started looking in the dictionary. I started looking up words and terms, and Fabella is Latin for little bean.
Hmm.
And I loved this. I loved the
Oh, we got bounced here. I wonder if that's some tough coverage on the internet here. So let's hopefully we can get Alexis back. I think she'll come back here, and let's give it a minute. Hopefully she realized that we got dropped. That's still live. All right, she popped back in. We're gonna get her back. There we go. There we go. That's how we roll on the Wolf Den.
I'm literally sitting right next to my router so that wouldn't happen, but I guess, it's 1:30, it's prime time, so
Yeah, and mine is bad. I'm like
um
plugged in directly, and I don't know why it's not as good as it should be, but we're back. So Latin for Little
we're
Bean.
back.
I assume Little Bean was what you called the cat.
No. No, so Fabella means little bean in Latin, and we don't have a cat named Fabella. We had a cat named Zeleny, which is Czech for green because she had these emerald green eyes. She was a tortoiseshell tabby. And we had a cat named Hannah who was black and white, and we got her after the 2003 blackout in New York. And Pana in Spanish means like, I, I, I was told it sort of means like mechanical breakdown, like when your car breaks down, but it worked. And she sort of looked like coffee. So, um, anyway, so yeah, fabella means little bean in Latin, which to me, I was looking at like fable and storytelling and fabulous but for me, they're all a spark, right? The little bean is the spark or the little seed of the story. So that's where fabella
Okay,
came from.
it's good. Another good story to tell. To be like, hey, why is it called? Some things I think are obvious, like hopefully Ticket Time Machine is, although you never know. People still they think you're Ticketmaster. It's good to have to be able to explain, so people aren't 100% sure because they might be sure what they think it is and they could be wrong. And then what are you going to do? You know.
It's true. That's actually why I took photo out of the name and just call it Fabella, because when I said Fabella Photo, everyone assumed I was a photographer. And then I had to sort of unexplain it, and they kind of never fully heard it.
Yeah.
So when I start with Fabella, even though it needs some information, it didn't get a misassumption.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
we probably get that with Ticket Time Machine. We do tickets, but we do badges, credentials, lanyards, posters, magnets, all of that. And so hopefully people don't just think ticket, but that's what they say about assume, right? That's why we do that. So, and we have two cats here. We rescued Stewie and Ariana. Ariana's
Ariana
cross-eyed.
Legrande?
I think that's what we didn't name Ariana. It was I assume that's probably what it was, and she's cross-eyed.
Oh,
Stewie's name was Sephiroth, which I was like, I'm not calling my cat Sephiroth, so I used the S and got Stewie from Family Guy, and now we actually are fostering a third for someone who needed a temporary, and he's going to go back to his owner, hopefully if he can. and his name is Kanye. So we got Kanye and Ariana in the house, and there you
Did
can.
Kanye and Ariana get along?
Uh, Ariana doesn't get along with anybody, but Stewie and Kanye get along just fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, we I know the scratching at the door and the always wanting. Well, the cats want to be around my wife more than they want to be around me, but still, they'll beg for some attention here and there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, boy cats tend to be a little more easygoing. Girl cats are high maintenance, and we made the mistake. We have an all girl cat household, and it's I
They're
won't do
wild.
that again.
Yeah, she's Ariana is wild and just a great cat, but she's out there. She's crazy and cross-eyed. Cross-eyed is pretty cute though. She's cute
Cross-eyed's
when she looks
really
up.
cute.
When she sits
Yeah.
down and looks up at you for a snack or a treat. It's hard to not give her what she wants. The people who come to you, how much of it is I have a vision and you're kind of making that vision happen, or like I need you to just do all of it, or in between? Like where does that lie?
I would say it's 50-50. Some people come in with a really clear vision and we really collaborate together and they're quite hands-on. Other people come and they're like, "Oh my gosh, help me. I have all this stuff and I don't know what to do with it." And I work with both and I work with all. Some people I literally just go in person and we sit down for a few hours and we work together and then I go back and do some work and we come back and work in person. Other people, they upload everything to Dropbox and then I'm just running and I do it all and then send them a draft. And we often will do like a screen share. If they're in the tri-state area and it's safe, we will meet in person. But otherwise, we can just do everything online. I just worked with somebody who is in Ohio, and we just did a Zoom and we did screen sharing, and it was very easy and pretty
Yeah,
seamless. So
you work with anyone
um,
anywhere on that. Doesn't.
exactly, exactly. So that's the beauty of it.
I used to take 1,000 pictures of my nieces and nephews when they were younger, and when I went on a trip, especially if it was like a bigger trip or for games, when I travel for games. What are the can you rank an idea of rank what people are taking pictures of? Is it kids? Is it concerts and of sporting events? Is it vacations? I mean, they're taking of all of them. But do you know which people are there numbers out there? Do you have an idea of what you see more?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any statistics to back this up. This is just
Yeah.
my observations. But I will say I did start this business with the idea of working with travel photos only, just because I'm very passionate about travel. And quickly people started saying, "Do you only do travel?" So I do a mixture. I would say top three are travel, kids, family. Um, yeah,
So I think the travel is the best, probably travel in nature, which is a lot of times hand in hand, is the best subjects. I mean, you're the best photos, and I'm not talking about the quality of the photo. I'm talking about the quality in the
subject.
sense of that's a picture that's worth saving. I go take a picture of my niece and nephews. I have 4,000 pictures, and they're literally of the same thing. Like maybe they move like this or that, right?
Right.
Are they doing something? But on vacation, there's always I mean, there's depending on where you go, but usually there's so many opportunities to snap a photo. And I'm a type of person who I don't even get in my photos on vacation. When I have pictures of my vacations I take, you won't even see me. Maybe in one or two, depending on if it's like I'm at the Big Ben or something, right? If you're at a
Yeah.
landmark, maybe I'll do that.
I'm definitely guilty of that as well. I mean, I am a photographer myself, as is my partner, spouse, wife, um, and we actually really experience the world through our lens. So we most of the time we're just taking pictures, and I really have to consciously remember to put my camera down and experience where I am. But it is kind of how I process and digest my surroundings. But so she's Canadian. And one of the reasons we got married, because we've now been together for 22 years,
Hmm.
married for 10th anniversaries this December, but together for 22. And one of the reasons we got married is so I could sponsor her for her green card and ultimately citizenship. And one of the fun things you have to do for that is put a lot of photos together to demonstrate that you're a real couple and you've been
Yeah, I
together for
know.
years.
Isn't that the most ridiculous? You see that in movies or in like, hey, let's pick up the phone and have it sit for 3 hours while we're not talking and we're doing something else so we can prove that we're a color. I mean, you can prove. I mean, you don't. It's just silly to some of the stuff
It's
people ask you to do.
it is a weird experience to go through, I'll tell you that. But I had to keep calling my dad and ask for photos that we were both in because we aren't in photos. I was like,
Yeah.
do you have some Thanksgiving pictures? Do you have some, you know, because
I mean, what if I have a
yeah,
timestamped
so
photo of me in front of this object and you're timestamped in front of that object like within a minute? Does that prove that we were sort of in the same place at the
does
same
that
time,
count?
kind of being maybe doing something together?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, these are pretty legit. You could see us, like, you could see our weight change. You could see some more gray come into our hair. You could see the hair length change. You could see, like one time we're in a winter coat, the next time we're on a beach. There was
Yeah.
like a real story being told, but
Which, by the way, very easily staged. Also, I mean, it's not.
very easily stretched. Just a
It's
little.
yeah,
This is real, by the way.
yeah.
I didn't
No,
brush this on for effect.
you can't see mine because I'm not close enough. But my wife was complaining about it the other day. So,
um,
but no, that's
there's
that's that's a weird. Yeah, that's the
it's
stuff
a
that people
strange
make people do, and people get away with this stuff because there is I'm just it's too easy to sort of create the story right that you want to create. I mean, you could do it. You can make a whole
yeah.
business just creating albums for people who aren't
Illegal.
together for green cards. Look, you don't
It's
ask questions on why you do it. You just want to know why they want it, and you'll be like, "Why are you guys
not for me
never
to
in the
ask.
same place at the same time?" Yeah, people do that all the time.
You are getting me into trouble, Matt. No, actually, it astounded me as we were going through the process to think that some people do it, green card marriage. Because there's a lot you have to do, including showing joint finances. And sorry, there's a cat underneath the desk, underneath the computer. What are you doing? Say hi,
Oh,
Clover.
yeah. Hello.
Look at that face.
Yeah.
She's
She
actually
looks.
purring, but she's
Oh, yeah.
looking
She looks
looking
like she's
pissy.
angry.
Yes, she has a resting bitch face, as we call it. But yeah, you have to show like joint finances and multiple years of like tax returns. That it is not an easy thing if you're a legit. No, there's the tail. If you're a legitimate couple, so I'm always shocked as we went through the whole process. Did I freeze? Did you freeze? There we go.
I think we might have frozen somewhere. Yeah, it's a tough thing to build, even if it's real sometimes, because it just is. That's hard. That's not an easy thing to
Yeah.
do. At least there's a difference between having to just having to prove something. I'd imagine there's people who get denied who are real. That's got to happen, right? I mean, this is the people will be like, no, you
Yeah.
guys aren't.
I mean, we had some hiccups, mostly because like she spells her name slightly different ways on two different entry documents. So, and then, they asked something like, "What's my phone number?" And number one, she's dyslexic, so she's terrible with phone numbers. And number two, who the hell remembers phone numbers anymore?
No one. One of my favorite comedians is Nate Bargatze. He's got this great bit about how when he goes to the airport, he's trouble because his birth name is Nathaniel, and he's like, "What are we doing here? Like, it's me. I'm Nathaniel.
Yeah.
They call me Nate. Like, what's the problem here?"
Yep. Yep. Exactly the same. Exactly the same.
Well, I want
So,
to look at and see if I could grab my things. Do you have any books that you have that you can get access to,
I do.
even if you have to leave this seat? We're going to leave it for 30 seconds and pretend that the internet messed up.
Okay. This is,
Come
yeah,
back
the
and let's see.
internet froze.
Yeah, let's see what you got. I want to show people some of the work that you do because we can talk about it, right? But why talk about it when we can share? I thought I had. I don't have mine, but I'll post it.
You good down there?
Mine are not as easily accessed as I thought they might be.
Oh, okay. Well, I have mine. It was right next to me. I
Yeah,
have a
let's see what share with what you got. And are
sure.
these work a personal thing that you did, or this
This
is
is
sort of like
actually this is actually a sample book that I created that shows the quality of the print and shows what you can do with it. But this is the printer that I use. So this was just what was close by. So one of the things I love about this company that I work with, you can create, this has a sleeve, a protected sleeve. They can also do presentation boxes. So this has a beautiful protective sleeve. Um, to save it, you can put any text on that you want, um, and then keep it safe. As I mentioned, this is archival quality, so you can see with the binding,
yeah?
it's hand bound, it's beautiful. I like to use this linen. I'll get it as close as I can. Let's see.
There you go. Yeah.
There's a few different linen covers, and then this is like there's a debossing and then a photo that's actually wrapped onto it.
Mhm.
And there's lots of different options. This is one of my favorite ways to show
Sure.
it. And then beautiful linen on the other side. So it just, the look and the feel of it has a really nice weight. You can, I don't know if you can see the quality of even just the first page. It's like almost like a watercolor thickness of paper. Um, and so see the seam. So it's like a hand stitched seam, and just show you some pages. So just some examples to sort of evoke what you can do with it. So you've got
Yeah.
looking through photo albums, and this is just an explanation of everything that Fabella does. Fabella turns your cherished memories into beautiful curated albums, framed pieces, and charming videos. I can read. Fabella is talented, creative, luxe experience, and impeccable quality.
I think it's in like we do stuff where we create something as a sample of what we do, but also in the work that we do, it's a lot easier for us, but we show and share and use it to be like, yeah, this is the work that we do because it's someone else's work. Do you have other people's work that you might just get a second one and say, hey, can we get a second one to share as work, or is it
Yeah, I mean, I try to be really respectful of people's privacy because these are
right?
very personal, intimate things. We'll sometimes ask about permission about sharing them online. I did a whole series on Instagram of profiling different clients, and I got permission from them to show the work. So you can take a look at that. I always do it with permission though, because these are personal and cherished moments, and not everybody's comfortable with things being shared publicly. But yeah, I can absolutely, if it's something's really special, I will print off a second one with their permission, or use excerpts of it. That was your question, right?
Yeah. No, I think it's your work. It's your work with their material, which is it's again it's private, could be private information, but it's also your interpretation of in some ways. Some of it's more interpretive than others. Some of it's just say let's put this here, right? But
Right.
there is an aspect to your work that's interpreting you know their story through
Hmm.
the photos and material that they want.
Exactly.
The copywriting, is that a lot of stuff that you do? A lot that they do? Probably both. Is there one more than other, or is it generally they tell you what you want to write in it, or you have to suggest to them?
Oh, the writing of the copy. Sorry, when I heard
Yeah.
copyright, I thought you meant like
No,
the
no,
copyright.
no,
Okay.
no, not the copyright.
Yeah, I mean, often I will get text from them, and sometimes I'll put in placeholders with things that I think to sort of evoke an idea there, and then get the text from them, and we can collaborate on that with them. Some have no words at all, and some can have complete pages of text with stories. So like I said, they're very customized and very individual. Um, So if somebody is traveling, I will often ask for a copy of their itinerary. That really helps. So I can put some details of the location, and if they've worked with a travel agent or anything, um, I can often get details, much more detail that helps me just kind of formulate the story.
How often do people come to you in a hurry?
That's a good question. Yeah, this isn't a quick process. So even a rush job would probably be a month turnaround just with the process of putting it together and printing it. Even the print time turnaround is about 2 weeks. So um, if you want to do a book, I mean, sometimes there's other stuff that we do. I haven't had a rush job yet, but it would be tough to do this quickly. I would
Well,
say
most of
that.
the books that we've done, we have a sports trip that we've done, and we did a book, and some family trips that we do a book where you get, a multiple, not just one. It could be seven or
Mhm.
whatever. Are people doing these books more for that in a group setting, or just for one? Even for a wedding, you're gonna maybe you have a book and you want to give a book to your family.
Yeah, so it really depends on what it is, but it's not uncommon to do multiple reprints. I just worked with a family, a husband and wife who have grown children, grandchildren, and they want to preserve their memories and not leave a lot of stuff for their children to have to deal with. And so we created multiple copies of the book so that they digitized the archival photos, and then we created 2 to 3 copies for each, basically each household. That's one of the great things to do, especially with archives where there's only one. And I've worked with families that are fighting over who gets to have that photo, and this is a great way to preserve it, restore it, and then have a copy for each household. So yes, multiples happen.
Yeah, so I go on a lot of trips, and a lot of them are traditions I've been doing. Some for 5 years, 8 years. This one trip where this is our 21st year.
Wow.
Um, what's stuff that you like to do that you have tradition or, and how long? Maybe what's the longest running tradition that you might have, and what's something out there that people have commemorated that has been a long running tradition that they do either one book for all of them, or maybe they want to do a different book every year.
Oh, that is a multi-part question. Let me think about that for a second. Um, I don't know if I have traditions the same way that you do, but there's groups of people that I spend a lot of time with, and we go on adventures together. I have a tight knit group of friends that we will just we call them field trips. We'll find something fun around the city or tri-state area, send out an email like who's up for this, grab tickets. Anything from going to Blaze, which is the pumpkin thing up in Sleepy Hollow. We've done that like 3 or 4 times a year. We like to do adventurous outdoor stuff. Um, what else have we done together? Like Snug Harbor, they'll have the Chinese Lantern Festival. We'll grab some tickets and go out there together. And actually, a new tradition that I think is established is I like to mark my birthday. It doesn't have to be a major thing, but I like to have friends around me and just celebrate together. And during the height of the pandemic, I just didn't want to not let a birthday go by and not mark it. And so um, this group and I we ended up going out actually to the Riverhead Aquarium in Long Island where we got married, and spent the weekend out there. And then the following year, I was like, anybody up for a birthday celebration? You want a field trip or you want in town? And they resoundingly came back with field trip. So it's becoming a new thing. So this year we went up to Beacon, New York. I spent my birthday in Dia, the art gallery there, which I absolutely love. And then the next day hiking, and well, our version of hiking, which no, real hikers would see as a stroll. Um,
Yeah,
um, Traditions people have come to me with. The first thing I thought of was my dad actually has friends that they've known each other since they were 20. They were camp counselors together, and they get together once a year They call it Men's Weekend. It's tongue in cheek because they're all, intellectuals. And they get little mementos every week, every year to mark something. A hat, a towel, a water bottle. Just something. Trying to think of anything that somebody's come to me with. I haven't had anybody come to me with that yet, but that is something to look into.
We were at the Smithsonian American Art Museum, and there was portraits, and was it portraits? I forget the name of it. It was really good. It was over by the arena. Really, really good museum with a lot of great art, especially from the older stuff. And his history told the story. I'm not a huge museum guy, but it was well done. I think it's a lot of it's like, can I tell this? Like, I don't want to sit for 5 hours and have to hear the story. So some of it is like, can you tell the story without me reading everything? Can I understand what's going on? Can I just read a little bit? For me, that's the best kind of museum for me. And that's sort of what you need in the book, because no one wants to sit, not through a not through a personal book that has a lot, that has to read a lot to kind of understand what was going on there. And you can tell the story without a lot of words if you have the right images or artwork.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm curation is its own thing, and I have very strong feelings about the fact that artwork should tell its story itself, and you shouldn't need a dissertation to explain what you're doing. I think that the story should enhance what you're seeing, but I think the artwork should stand on its own. And I'm like that too. I have some dyslexia and ADHD, so when I'm in a museum, it's very hard for me to stay and read things. I often like to go through and see everything, and then afterwards do some research on it. That kind of enhances what I saw.
Do you? I'm a collector. When I go to events, I now, instead of taking pictures, I collect stuff. Some really dumb, and some just whatever. All this stuff that makes me remember my trip.
Yep.
Um, Half of it, my wife wants to throw out, but it's just you can't bring yourself. You were there. You don't know why. It's this thing. It's I don't even. I'm going to show you this. I have this. This is from. These are Disney passes that I was scrolling through from 1999.
Oh,
I'm like, what
wow.
do I need this for? But I can't. Like,
But you
it
can't
was.
get rid of
It's a
that.
memory. Why would I get rid of that? So that's what I collect. But with regards to art, do you have anything that's like really special to you? Like, that's your favorite piece, or like, I hate to use this, but house burning down. You're, aside from animals and humans, what are you grabbing?
That's a good question. So I love ephemera, as does my partner. We have a running joke because she will grab everything from wherever we are, and not just one, right? She has to have multiples. So we
Yeah, just in
basically have
case.
archives in our house, but we're both like that. So unlike you, who has a wife who's like, get rid of it, I'm like, I know, here's two. I know you have to have a
Yeah.
copy of everything. Yes, here's three.
So we got to
um,
sell enough tickets and books so we can have a big space for our crap.
exactly. I like the word ephemera. That elevates
Yeah.
it from hoarding and crap to something that's memorable.
My grandma would call them
Whenever
tchotchkes.
tchotchkes.
Yeah.
We started just getting magnets from places because we were trying to keep things. We live in an apartment and we were trying to keep things small. Um, sh- you
We do
know,
collect magnets. We like getting magnets from the new places that we've been to.
Yeah, we've run out of magnetic surfaces. The fridge is full, the cabinets are full, but that is a very good way to do stuff. But I'm trying to think if there's anything. House burning down. It's us. I'd be so busy trying to get the damn cats in a carrier because we have four. I don't think I would remember anything else. Um, I'm sure there are things to look around and be sad about. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, but nothing that you're like, this
No,
is
there we
very
go.
meaningful to me for whatever reason
Um,
it is. It's worth a lot. It has a personal meaning. Um, I got so much of that. I don't even know what. I have some baseballs that my dad gave me that I probably would grab first, but other than that, man, I'd be disappointed. You can't replace this stuff, which is not a lot of money. They can
right,
give you money, but they can't
right.
replace it.
yeah, there's irreplaceable things. I'm gonna have to chew on that one for a bit because I'm sure those
Yeah.
things exist in this house.
Well, next time we
Do you
meet,
ever?
we actually met at a network group. So next time I see you, you can remind me just out of the blue, just mention something, and everyone's going to be like, "What the heck is she
I'll
talking
be like,
about?"
this is it, and you'll be like, what? So you're so random.
Well, so you're going on vacation. You guys talk about going to Canada. If you
Mhm.
could, would you rather have a video, someone do a professional video for you, or a book? If someone's going to do it, like let's say you weren't who you were, and someone offered, say, I want to do this for you. Would you prefer a video or a book?
Um, I think for me personally, probably a book, but I'm a typical photographer. I don't actually like to be on film or on screen. So I don't really like to look at myself. So a video would probably be like, oh my God, make it stop. Or at least a book I could kind of flip through.
Yeah,
And there's a great company that is international called Flightographer. I don't know if you're familiar with them. I think they are originally Canadian based, but they work with local photographers wherever you travel to do a day shoot. So people are traveling and then they come, you can do a half day shoot, a full day shoot, to really get a professional quality photo while you're traveling.
that's cool. Yeah,
And
that's a
I
good
love
idea.
working with people with Flightographer. Then I get quality photos.
Yeah, I think look, it's we're in a physical world. That's my deal. It's never going away. People want to have those photos, and they want to. If they don't need a photo album with books, they now the thing is to let's put something together to make it look, and that's what you guys do. So if you're interested and you have an event that you've gone to or that you've done, or a special moment, memory, vacation, whatever it is, check out FabellaPhoto.com, and also on Instagram at Fabella Photo. We're going to let you go with the same question we give everyone as they exit the Wolff Den. You have 24 hours, a full day to spend with anyone in the world. They have to be alive and you can't be related to them. Who would you choose and what would you guys do?
So, just in case Chris from Connects is watching this, it would probably be Yoko Ono.
Okay.
I think she is a phenomenal artist. I think she is an amazing woman who believes in peace even after watching her husband die in her arms. Um, I would love to just walk around New York City and find her favorite spots. I'm a big fan of New York City. It's where I'm from, and I would love to just see how she enjoys exploring the world around her.
Is New York City and some of these places they're just more conducive to storytelling than ever else, or can you find, you know, in the Midwest and just as good a story?
There's stories everywhere. There's people. I
Yeah.
really believe I also study cultural anthropology, and I really believe that we all have stories to tell. And it's the human condition.
Yeah, well, Yoko Ono's never been said before, but it's a great choice. And if we allowed people who weren't alive anymore, we'd probably get a lot of John Lennon requests. So it's a great choice.
I'm sure you
Appreciate your
would.
time here today. I gotta go try and figure out what I don't have a book for, and to see if we need to get something done. I can't imagine we don't. It would seem weird, but who the hell knows? But check out the website, check out Instagram, get in touch with Alexis. They do great work, and have a great time on your trip. I hope you have a lot more stories to tell and memories that you're making. And I look forward to seeing you back in the group of Connects and hearing about your trip.
Thank you so much, Matt. It's been such fun being in the Wolf Den today.
All right, we got another episode tomorrow, and then we'll wrap it up. So have a great night, everyone.